When my wife looked me straight in the eyes that evening and said, "I date my ex every weekend. You'll have to accept it." It felt as if someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart in their fist. The kitchen, the same place where we once laughed, while cooking together, suddenly felt unfamiliar. The wedding photo hanging on the wall seemed to mock me. 10 years, 10 full years, and I had believed this marriage was unbreakable. I had called it my home, my shelter, my entire world. But in that moment, I realized maybe I had been living in that world alone. There was no guilt on her face, no hesitation, just a strange calmness, as if she were discussing something ordinary. I asked her quietly, "Do you even realize what you're saying?" There was less anger in my voice and more broken belief. She shrugged and said, "If you trust me, it shouldn't be a problem." That single sentence shattered years of trust. Inside me like sand slipping through open fingers. I could have yelled. I could have fought. But the strange thing was, I went silent. Because sometimes a man doesn't go quiet out of weakness. He goes quiet out of shock. But silence doesn't mean weakness. I didn't think about revenge. I started thinking about myself. Was I really so powerless that I would accept my marriage, turning into something like this? Is self-respect just something people talk about in books? Every weekend when she walked out that door, something inside me slowly changed. The pain was still there, but it stopped controlling me. One Friday, as she was leaving, she casually said, "I'll be home late. Don't wait up." I simply replied, "Okay." But that night, something was different. I decided I wouldn't just sit in the background of my own life anymore. I reconnected with friends I had drifted away from. I started going to the gym again. I focused harder at work. I looked at myself in the mirror and wondered, when I had become so invisible in my own marriage, a relationship is built by two people. But when one turns it into an open arrangement without consent, the other either breaks or transforms. I chose to transform. The following weekend, everything shifted. She left dressed up like always, confident, polished, ready for her night. But this time, the house wasn't dark and empty when she returned. Around 9 p.m., the door opened. She walked in laughing until she saw us. The living room lights were on, and I was sitting on the couch. Beside me sat a woman, poised, confident, effortlessly beautiful. There was nothing inappropriate happening. We weren't touching. We weren't crossing lines. We were simply talking. My wife froze. "What is this?" she demanded, shock and anger colliding in her voice. I stood slowly. My heart was racing, but my face remained calm. "You told me to accept your weekends," I said gently. "I figured you could accept mine." She snapped back, "This is different." I gave a faint smile. "No, it's exactly the same. The only difference is, when you do it, you call it freedom. When I do it, you call it betrayal." Silence filled the room. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I simply held up a mirror. Then I said the sentence that made everything clear. "While you're seeing your ex, I've been seeing his divorce attorney." The woman beside me stood calmly and placed her business card on the table. There was no drama in her expression, only professionalism. The color drained from my wife's face. For the first time, she realized this wasn't a one-sided game. This wasn't revenge. It was a boundary. That night, there were tears, explanations, regret, but some truths. "Don't wash away with tears." I told her the problem wasn't her past. It was her attitude. A marriage stands on trust, but trust cannot survive on one side alone. When one partner turns their choices into rules, the other becomes a prisoner. And I was not born to live as one. I didn't feel victorious that night. I didn't celebrate. I just felt a quiet peace, because for the first time in a long time, I chose myself. Sometimes the hardest thing in life isn't leaving someone. It's leaving your silence. And the moment someone tells you to accept it, and you decide you won't, that's the moment the story changes.